on last week's
Reviewed and Ranking.
Jesus fucking Christ, Alan can't even get the name of the show right.
I had a kind of...
Now, on tonight's
Let's Talk It Out.
We have a very important mission for tonight. We must use stealth and cunning to infiltrate the human world and retrieve Go-Gurt.
Okay, Batman.
Dude, what? I'm just trying to hype you guys up. Let's go!
From Seth Rogen comes a movie that crushes for absolutely every age.
Amazing, insane. All right, tell me more.
Crushes for absolutely every age, my ass. Sorry, continue.
You know what's fucking hilarious is that I fucked up and we had to play that intro bit twice.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Bang bang click click reload bang bang dead. Welcome to Ranked and Reviewed. I am your host as always, Tomye West, and joining me as always is my co-host, Alannis motherfucking Maximus.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Alannis D.
How are
How are you doing?
I'm Alannis D-Box.
Welcome to my podcast.
I'm Alannis D.
Yeah, I'm Alannis D-Box.
I'm Alannis D, putting my D into that box.
Oh, yeah.
See how I'm fondling the balls?
How sinister are dog toys they like? I mean,
Dude, I know. I put one up ages ago, a pink one that my mum got and brought it home, and I took a photo of it, and I said, my mum swears this is a dog chew, but I beg to differ. So here we are to talk about Teenage Mutant Turtles Ninjas. And we're talking about the movie Mutant Mayhem, which just came out.
Was it Mayhem? Boy, howdy.
It just came out in Australia, so we're late to the party.
I reckon this is like karma for us breaking these embargoes and stuff. Like with
I'm so sick of this bullshit. Why are we getting movies so late now?
It's like back. I'm sure like this shit used to happen like in the 90s and stuff.
I don't know, man. Look, we're waiting as long for movies now as we were waiting back in the 90s for fucking movies from cinema to fucking VHS, mate. So, I am your host, Tomye West, and we are here today to do Ranked and Reviewed. Now, if you're new to Ranked and Reviewed is a show where we take a bunch of movies in a franchise and we rank them from best to worst, worst to best, whatever you want to do, all in the one franchise, and then we move on to the next one, and we continue to do that with the next franchise. We both have a separate list. We don't just have one list that we have to come to an agreement on. It actually makes for a better show and makes for some interesting conversations when we compare each other's lists. Now, the thing about this year, we're doing Ranked and Reviewed a little bit differently, and that is that we are ranking every movie that we see at the cinemas this year against each other rather than movies in a franchise. So at the end of the year, we're going to have one giant list from best to worst, worst to best.
Massive.
About what movies we think were the best to worst for the year that we saw in theaters or on streaming websites that are new releases. So with that, now that you know the basis of the show, Alannis, let's get into our overview of TMNT Mutant Mayhem, and then we will get into our thoughts and discussions. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Good. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2023, rated PG, with a runtime of 1 hour and 59 minutes and an IMDb score rating of 7.5 out of 10. The synopsis goes, the film follows the Turtle brothers as they work to earn the love of New York City while facing down an army of mutants. Now, this is directed by Jeff Rowe, Kyler Spears, written by Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, and Jeff Rao. Now, this stars Mika, Abby, Shimon Brown Jr., and Nicholas Cantu, and Ice Cube as well, among with Seth Rogen himself, Paul Rudd, Jackie Chan, Rose Byrne, John Cena.
Who's John Cena?
Rocksteady.
Ah, yeah.
And then we have We have the box office budget being, the budget was around $70 million. In US and Canada on its opening weekend, which was August 6th, it made 28.7 million, and it grossed in US and Canada all up 101.2 million, and then it grossed worldwide 139 million worldwide so far. We will get into a little bit of trivia later, and we will get into a little bit more deeper points after that. But for now, let's get into our thoughts on this movie. And Alannis, as usual, you take the floor.
I didn't have much love for this movie. I didn't have much hate for this movie. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It was okay. That's my nutshell. It's small.
That's your nutshell.
Yeah.
Come on, you can get into some deeper thoughts than that.
I did like, we're doing spoiler free, aren't we? Or wait, do we? Because like the rest of the world's already seen this.
Look, we'll do spoiler free for the first little bit. And then
we have an Australian as well here. Mikatsky is watching.
Oh, cool. Thanks for joining us.
His name is Ben.
Thank you for joining us. So yeah, no, we'll do spoiler free for the first little bit, and then we'll get into spoilers just in case.
Yeah. Okay. It had some cool moments. A lot of it, the most stuff I enjoyed was actually little Easter eggs and references to things I think it should have tried to be more like. The animation style, I've had people say it looks trashy AI with some scribble, which I get why, but I think it's more so to me, whilst yes, it was also trying to be the Across the Spider-Verse into the Spider-Verse animation style, and it didn't pull it off. It kind of tried to jump on that bandwagon and went under the wheels, I think. I've seen a lot of interpretations in Ninja Turtles, and on the aesthetic, sometimes it's off-putting, then you watch it, it's like, hey, that's not that bad, story-wise, and that. But this, I'm pretty sure when you first saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know about this animation style. And you're like, I don't know, give it a chance. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And yeah, the story, the reinvention, actually, no, that's more spoiler here, so we'll get into that later. That's about everything I can say without spoiling.
Man, I get that you don't like the aesthetic, but it's better than the Michael Bay aesthetic.
I disagree.
Fuck me, Alan.
He's gone.
You always need to come in with the hottest takes, you know, and it made me need a cigarette. Why? Well, how can you think that these oversized, fucking ugly, fat Ninja Turtles look better than this?
I just dug it more. They're like Raphael. I didn't like how he was done. Like Donatello, yes.
They all look the same as each other in that fucking movie. They just got different colored headbands.
Yeah,
They're all fat. They're all big. They're way too big. The Ninja Turtles have never been that big. You know what I mean?
I still liked it. I dug it. I think it was better than this version.
Keep going, Alannis.
That's about everything I can say without spoiling.
No, you can say more. What did you think about the voices? What did you think about some of the characters?
Oh, of course, yeah. Voices, pretty shit. Donatello was terrible. Leonardo was okay. Raphael just wasn't Raphael. Like, he was...
To me, they didn't sound like teenagers. That was my problem. They sounded like children.
Yeah. Michelangelo sounded like the oldest, which is weird because he was the youngest. Splinter, I don't know. It took too long to get into it. Like, it didn't really get into it until, like, the third act. Like, the last half hour. And where it went didn't do it for me. There was no big payoff. Felt very formulaic, the story. It's not, there's so much source material that's done it better. and I don't know why they didn't draw from that a little bit more outside of Easter eggs, like Ninja Rap and yeah.
Fair enough, man. Look,
As I said, I don't hate it, but this is what I don't like about it and why, which
Fair
I think
enough.
is more than what I like. But yeah, and what I did like, the Easter eggs, some of the little things there. There are a couple of chuckle-worthy moments, but the pacing was off. As I said, I was checking my phone a lot. It wasn't engaging. I think that's what really.
I got a lot of people saying it was like comparable, like the animation style to like Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. And while I get that that animation style kind of is similar to it, the thing is that with animation style with Spider-Man, it looks like it's sort of like jumping, so it's missing frames. Whereas this one looks like it's slowed frames. Would you say that would be the correct assumption?
It was weird. It was like they were walking through mud, but at the same time they weren't walking through mud. Like it's the Spider-Verse do, especially Across the Spider-Verse, they mess with frame rates in a really big way. Like you had Spider-Punk that was like really slow, and you could tell that things were missing. And then you have everyone else, which is a little bit slower and the different animation styles. And I think that's where some people might disagree with it being a take because it's all the one animation style. It's all, but I don't know. It feels like how Miles Morales looks. I think if the entire world in those movies was in his animation, his dimensions style, that's where it would sit.
Fair enough.
It's just not a good version of it as well. I know. I'm sorry to hate on it, but just to get my point across.
If we were doing the old format of Ranked and Reviewed, I mean, where would you put this amongst all the other Turtle iterations we've gotten?
Just movies?
Yep. I mean, it's better than Turtles in Time.
Oh, the third one? I'd say last or second last. It might be below that. Just because the classic element, as well as those suits, I was a big fan of.
Turtles in Time, man, was fucking terrible.
I think bad 90s is a lot better than bad 2020, so I'm just going to say that.
Look, while I didn't hate it like you did, or not hate it, but didn't like it really, I didn't think it was bad, but I also didn't think it was great because I went into this expecting it to be really good considering all the positive feedback I've heard about this movie.
Yeah, I get it. And I don't know. I don't know. I can see why some people around our age might like it, but to me, it lacked that oomph of the Turtles. Like it's almost like they got the character of in the. Oh, this isn't really a spoiler. The origin is different. It's, I think that put me off. The way some things went with some characters that I won't mention yet put me off. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I'm eating some chips. Sorry, I'm hungry. With that, we're going to get into spoilers. But while this down here, this bar down here that says spoilers is up, you know we're on spoilers. So when that moves, we're off spoilers. Do the X. So now that we've done the X, that means spoilers. Alannis, spoilers.
Okay. Some of the characters, like the two characters, I think look cool with Rhino, Bebop, and Rocksteady. But one thing that really got to me in this is they kind of mishmashed all these other mutants, and they made Bebop and Rocksteady good guys in the end, and everyone was loving each other. The Turtles went to school out of the sewers. It ended really badly. I didn't like that at all. I don't like that Leatherhead was terrible. I don't like that they made April O'Neil a teenager. I don't care that they race swapped her, but making her a teenager and an aspiring journalist and making him the same age as the Turtles, I didn't like. It's... I don't know. I think the story itself as well was just off. Like it focused. Yeah, I don't know. It
Well-
didn't engage me. It took too long to get into it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to counteract some of your like dislikes. I like the art style. I think it looks kind of cool. I like the new design. I think it's at least closer to the animated series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles than, say, something like the Michael Bay movies. It has more of a classic Turtles feel, even though they still look a little different. You know what I mean?
I think if you don't count just movies, so like the last Nickelodeon series, that I think is a good point that they changed so radically. The last two Nickelodeon series is, I think, in animation style, where it's like it wasn't close enough to the old style for me to really like. They had a lot of cool artwork throwbacks, so like when they have the blank eyes in the very start at the top of the building. If they followed along those lines more consistently in the way the Turtles looked, I think I would have liked it more.
Now, are you forgetting about one movie? Because we got the 2007 movie. Do you remember that? The 3D animated one.
I really like that one.
I love that movie too, and that movie got a bad rap.
That movie, I think, was a spiritual successor to Turtles in Time. I don't think it is officially, but that's what I got from it. And that is one of my favorite Turtle movies. Probably my third favorite.
You know what I like about it is that it kind of incorporates that whole Last Ronin thing into it.
Yes. And I also
like with isn't it Leonardo or is it Raphael? One of them's gone away to the jungle, and is like
Leonardo.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the Last Ronin idea, but without it being that he's the only turtle left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you could also say the same with Raphael and that how he's doing the vigilante superhero kind of thing.
I love how he's wearing like that
The
outfit
armor.
that looks like the Dark Knight from Batman from fucking Batman versus Superman kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I think that movie was probably better than this one.
Yes.
So like if I was to put these in order of like what's better, what like out of the movies, I would go the original from the 1990, like the original. My favorite line out of that movie is "Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds." Hey, hey, Mikey, you ever think about like what Splinter says, about us not needing him? Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds. So, another couple of counterpoints I'm going to put to you is that I really enjoyed Jackie Chan's performance. I thought he was really good in this tonight. I thought he was very funny. I thought he was very strong, and I thought he delivered his lines very well. I think Ice Cube was really good as the bad guy in this, and I think that I think everyone did pretty good jobs at the voices, except I still think that the Turtles should have been done more teenager-like rather than.
They were the biggest letdown vocally.
I almost feel like they were like more 11 to 12-year-old based more than 13, 14, 15 teenage range,
That's also that and Leatherface. Because in the original cartoon, Leatherface was all like South Bayou Cajun sounding. Like I guarantee. And they swapped it to, I can't even remember, but I know I didn't like it. I think it might have even been a female cast member. But it didn't sound right.
Fair enough. Now, I mean, I don't really have much to say in the way of spoilers. I'm just kind of talking about this movie, generalizing like what I thought about the performances, what I thought about the movie itself. And look, I'm going to have to say that I think if this is I'm going to rate this differently to how we usually would. We usually give it out of 5. You know what I mean? I'm going to do out of like a don't bother, rental, matinee, or full price. Now, I'm going to go with wait for home release, streaming.
I'm going to wait to see it on a streaming service. Yep. Don't hire it, don't buy it. Don't rent it. If you get it on a streaming service, watch it on that. If you sail the 7 seas, watch it on that.
Definitely.
I don't think it was good enough to pay for.
Yeah, definitely. And before we get into our trivia and our rankings and all that sort of thing, Alannis, let's talk a little bit about D-Box.
It was watered down, slightly comfier 40X. Very watered down. It was a pale shadow. The only thing I can say I like is you in a Hoyt's recliner, which in here for the non-Australians, Hoyts have like full like cushy recliners where you have a lot of space and you can make the footrest come out. Whereas Village is a little more, they're comfy, but you're a little more tighter together, a little more upright. But I think you have to be that way for 40X. And I think that's maybe where the movement lacked because you weren't being rocked around in the upright position like, oh, there's more lounging.
I still want to know who is responsible for the 40X conversion, and now I want to know who is responsible for the D-Box version, and I want to know why the D-Box one has been done, but we did not get a 40X one, because surely if someone's programming the D-Box movement, why wouldn't you just do 40X as well?
I don't think I'll sit through this movie again for the 40X, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like, when is it? The 7th. It comes out next week. Remember, we didn't get Transformers 40X until literally the week was coming in. We're like, hey, it's in 40X. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I don't know.
We'll see what happens, I guess, because America did not get a 40X.
Oh, really?
So if America didn't get a 40X, I don't think we're going to either.
Neither do I.
You know what I think this movie severely lacked too? 3D.
Yeah.
I think this movie would have been perfect in 3D. Because it wouldn't have been like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or whatever, where it's missing frames almost or whatever. So it wouldn't have looked weird like that did. Whereas with this would have still been smoother and probably popped more.
True.
And what did you think about like how much the seats moved and stuff in D-Box compared to to 40X?
I was expecting at least to have at 40X you kind of have the things in the back that kind of vibrate and like you're kind of being punched in the back gently. I was hoping for at least that, but it was just vibrating chairs, like.
And it wasn't even like good vibrating. It wasn't like throwing you around like a ride like 40X does.
I think they were more consistently active than a lot of 40X movies, but it was also a lot more subtle. Like it's just like,
yeah.
It was like the vibration in a controller in recliner form, I think.
Yeah. So basically, what me and Alannis have decided to do is, because we couldn't do a 40X version of this, is we are going to do D-Box for all movies that we want to go see that do not have a 40X offer, but D-Box is an offer. We will go do that. So we're going to have a ranking for the movies of the year, a ranking for the 40X, and a ranking for the D-Box experience. And this being our first D-Box experience, we're putting it at number 1, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it can't really beat anything else.
No, and I'm going to grab our rankings you sent me, and we're going to get into our rankings. But Alannis, I want to do something different for 1 second. I'm going to link you to the trivia for this movie, and you're going to do the trivia this week.
I don't have a secondary screen there, so I may.
That's all right. I sent you the link in here, so just open it. You don't need to keep your window open. Just open it and read. Read which ones you think you, or just read whichever you want.
Ice Cube agreed to play Superfly because he liked the name and because his son watched the Ninja Turtles cartoons. Okay. Well, there's not a lot. Shredder was originally in the film. That is one thing it needed, at least a hint into Shredder, unless it was after the credits shit I didn't see.
Yeah, I was wondering why we didn't even get something like alluding to him.
On one thought there, I think they should have made a spiritual successor to the last animated movie and had Shredder.
Do you think that was there any post credits shit?
I don't know. I haven't checked. But anyway, back to beyond just the word Shredder. Being originally in the film as well, I believe I It was written out because after Jeff Rowe wanted this film's villain to be a mutant that shared empathy with the turtles who could easily tempt and corrupt them. I think you could have just used Baxter Stockman for that, to be honest. But anyway, there's a bit more trivia for you. In contrast to the norm of animation, the cast recorded their voice roles together in groups rather than independently from one another. A single recording session could include up to 7 actors. This environment allowed for the cast to play off each other as well and employ a list of improvisation in their performances. That's enough of that. That's a long paragraph and not that interesting, I don't think. Hey, 38 more. Here we go. Oh, that's an interesting one. 2 locations in the film homage the Ninja Turtles creators Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. April attends Eastman High School. April interviews the Turtles at a building with a sign reading The Laird. Lard? You tell me. Because at the end of the day, aren't we all just tomatoes? I don't know. I'm reading and talking as we go. Potatoes.
All right. Well,
yeah, that's enough for trivia, I think.
Yeah, fucking hell. Good job, Alannis. Good job.
Yeah.
With that, let's bring up our rankings for the year so far of movies. When you want to, come on. Here we go. So, my ranking so far goes a little like this. Number 1, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 2, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 3, Scream 6. Number 4, The Flash. Number 5, Avatar: The Way of the Water. Number 6, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Number 7, Cocaine Bear. Number 8, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 9, TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Number 10, Evil Dead Rise. Number 11, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 12, The Meg 2: The Trench. Number 13, Fast X. And number 14, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, brother! Part 1.
Oh!
And then Alannis goes number 1, Evil Dead Rise. Number 2, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 4, Avatar: The Way of the Water. Number 5, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 6, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Number 7, The Meg 2: The Trench. Number 8, Scream 6. Number 9, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 10, Cocaine Bear. Number 11, The Flash. Number 12, TMNT Mutant Mayhem. And number 13, Fast X. And number 14, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, brother!
That's my thing.
They need to find one of us in the wreckage, brother. Are we starting the fire? Yes, the fire rises. Nobody cared who I was till I put on the mask. If I pull that off, will you die? It would be extremely painful. You're a big guy. For you.
Tom Hardy. He truly is the most hardy of all Toms.
What?
I don't know, is he more hardy than you?
Was getting caught part of your plan? Of course.
In hardiness, where would you rank yourself and Tom Hardy? Would he be...
Tom Hardy shits all over me. Tom Hardy shits all over me.
There we go. Ranking and reviewing Toms. Next week, we'll bring in Tom Hiddleston.
They need to find one of us in the wreckage, brother.
What about Tom Hanks? Are you more hardy than him?
Have we started the fire? Yes. The fire rises.
On the scale of Tom Hanks being the lowest of these Toms and Tom Hardy being the hardiest, where would you rank yourself? Below? And
higher than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Shoes.
Hold on a second.
Your idle gossip distracts me from my master plan. Break the Batman, punish Gotham for its transgressions, and stand atop the mountain of skulls left in my way.
Anyway, I heard Harley.
Morning! Ah, my chicken is rubbery. Your beef looks good.
Fine.
I might finish that.
Well, then what are we doing?
You
Stop it.
She even sounds like you.
I don't think I said. Do I sound like You never hear your own voice, I guess. It makes a good point. I don't like how you called me a monster.
Yeah, that was pretty harsh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, it's just an expression!
Also, let's talk about dinner. I selected the beef well in advance and you stole it from me. You said you didn't even want to come to this stupid thing.
The hell is this?
Your new home.
What the shit are you doing here?
I'm not just a judge. I am also a warden. Welcome to the Peña North Correctional and Rehabilitation Facility.
Listen, Bane, we're not going in your dumb hole, so either free us or kill us.
Okay. Oh, they'll be fine. I set up padding at the bottom. Just more dramatic, you know, to see them drop like that.
Oh my.
You're probably wondering to yourself, hey, Bane, why no door? Because where would you escape to? You are in a pit!
And no matter how much
I like the rabbit hole.
no matter how many times we
That just you saying the Mission Impossible movie in A Dead's Reckoning has taken us down. We're watching Harley Quinn now. Before we were talking about Hardy Toms and Tom Shoes.
Goons, you're with me.
The hell we are! We work for Harley!
And now for me, too. I've signed you out for a very important mission.
I got a razzie zazzy for Bang.
It's Bane. You know it's Bane. I'm here every day, Todd. Goddamn millennial.
Whatever, Bang.
So we're blowing up Todd after dinner. What's taking your shark friend so long to plant the bomb?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because he's a shark and not a demolitions expert.
Todd must pay for what he's done. Let's see whose name is Bane now, Todd!
Ah! Good Lord, man!
Oh, hey, shark guy, did we kill Todd?
Todd doesn't work Wednesday.
I love that when he's like, let's talk about dinner. I ordered the chicken well in advance. But, you know, when he's like, give me the chicken. But I said I wanted, and it just cuts off. We're done reckoning. All right, cool. Well, everyone, that has been our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem review. We will be back next week. We apologize for the lack of content lately. We apologize for having to delay Tanked and Reviewed, our Barbie review. Unfortunately, my grandma passed away, and my band's been busy, and there's a lot been going on. So the podcast has had to sort of take a back seat just for a little bit. But as you can see, we're back, and we're going to keep it up.
And it was the summer of Alan, so I was legitimately on vacation. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, everyone, thank you for joining us for our D-Box edition review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And we will be back next week with another classic film that's new, that's not classic.
Unless there's not one that's coming out yet. And then we might, I don't know.
Do a classic film.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, cool. All right. I'm your host, Tomye West. And joining me, as always, has been my co-host,
Tom Shoes.
And before we go, let's have another word from our sponsor.
Peace.
The scientific struggles to breathe, stuff like breath leaving. You can touch it from every disease. This one last heartbeat. Now remember every moment you cherished. It's already over now, so clear your mind. It's already over now. I'll sing this one more time. This one's for the broken hearted. We grieve for the ones departed. Please don't be upset. I know it hurts, but it's alright. I'm gonna shake it hands through the night. Please don't be upset. So bring us down. So bring us.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm Star-Lord.